It wouldn't be a Halloween video without a fucking chainsaw noise. What? Hey everyone, it's Nikki Fabs, and today is so obviously Halloween, and I woke up today super inspired to film for you guys and post on Instagram and just be the wannabe influencer that I am. But I'm filming from my bed just because I was like, you know what, let me try to do like old school Sharpie days because I'm doing a story time with Sharpie. This is gonna be a fun one as you can tell by the title. It's all about the time that a company peed in my car. If you do like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to really try to do this now. This is like an old school thing I used to do, my story times with Sharpie, so please enjoy this video. It is just embarrassment on my part, and of course I am gonna accept some blame for it because what happened was partially my fault, but it's a very interesting story, so I'm gonna jump right in. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias to communicate with me more, to suggest more story times or video ideas that I could do for you guys at Nikki Fabs, and yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so back in 2018 to 2019, I ended up moving to LA, and when I did, my mom shipped my car out for me because I was broke and a mess and just thought I'd go to LA and figure it out, and that did not work out. Regardless, I digress. Getting there was such a nightmare, but that's a completely different story. But so when I decided to move back, we used the same broker who scheduled the first move. He was definitely like a typical East Coast salesman type of person, and it was a lot, right? And he thought I was like family, all this stuff. So we scheduled to get my car picked up a couple hours before I go to the airport to fly home. And obviously that doesn't happen. I literally sat in my car on a side street in LA for 4 hours waiting for this truck to come and collect my car. And genuinely, after maybe about 2.5 was when I started calling people and being like, hey, what's up? No one would call me back. No one would answer the phone. It was a nightmare. So what ended up happening was they finally gave me somebody's phone number. Some fake number from Greece calls me, and the guy's like, I'm in San Diego, I'm not coming. And I just want to say, I'm aware of the privileged ass shit I say, and I'm so glad that I don't really do this anymore, but I was so entitled. I was like, no, you're coming in my car now! And he didn't. But thankfully I had a friend who let me drive my car all the way up to her house, park it in her driveway, and then go down to the airport and get on the plane, and then they took care of them picking the car up because they didn't pick the car up until 3 days later. So the company picks the car up, right? By the way, it's me. So the inside of my car is bedazzled and adorable, but the back seat is covered with 3 bins that have all my stuff in it, and I've organized it and I folded it all neatly and nicely. And I want you to remember that. Just foreshadowing, right? So they pick up my car. The guy sends me a picture saying that he went up, he got my car, it's on the rig, it's ready to go out. Perfect, great. Guy's super cool, right? Super cool, I think. It was quoted to me that I would get my car on January 1st. So they call you 24 hours beforehand to say, okay, this is how much money you owe, it's in a cash or check, here's where we're going to be meeting, here's the time frame I will be there. This call never happened. And it's a holiday, and I was like, okay, but wouldn't they have called and told you because of the holiday they pushed back? I booked this before Christmas, I think a couple days before Christmas. Yeah, I think we booked the car. It finally got picked up. I think it got picked up on the 22nd or the 23rd, the day before Christmas. Regardless, my car didn't come, and I was super pissed off. And I called because I thought this was gonna happen. So I actually called them the day before New Year's Eve, and they were like, no, they should be calling you tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Don't be concerned. Of course they didn't call me. So on the 1st, I called them, And again, I'm aware of how privileged and entitled and much of a dick I was in this situation, but it was my car, and I have spent my entire life being a woman, raised by a single woman who has been taken advantage of in every field that men dominate in. Like, I literally walked in to buy my Nissan, and the guy who sold it to us said, "Who's buying, mommy or daddy?" Like, always dealt with this misogynistic shit. So of course I'm gonna handle the situation pretty aggressively. Also, the guy who delivered my car tried robbing me in below downtown LA, so a super ghetto area, in a parking lot that was chained in at 8:30 at night. So, you know, I'm a little hesitant. So I call them. I finally get in touch with this guy who is like, I don't know, the leader of the Russian fucking mafia with his thick accent and his aggressive tone with me. And I'm like, "Hi, you were supposed to deliver my car yesterday. I just want to see where it is." This guy said, "We weren't supposed to deliver your car yesterday." And I was like, "Oh no, yeah, I was quoted, you know, the 1st or the 31st or whatever it was." And he's like, "No, we don't quote like that. You're mistaken. You'll get your car when I decide to give you your car." And I didn't really handle it the best. And I kind of went, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "You heard me. You'll get your car when I decide to give you your car." So I freak out and I start saying, "Are you trying to steal my car? How dare you? You're going to deliver me my car and you're going to deliver it to me now," throwing a whole fit, being an asshole. My car is in Philadelphia. It needs to get to Long Island, the east end of Long Island, right? So this whole situation, this guy on the phone is threatening to keep my car and not give it back and keep it in his lot in Philadelphia, or I could come and get it. And that wasn't going to fucking happen. So I don't know what ended up happening. I feel like the broker got involved and he had to smooth it over. I don't know what ended up happening. But so basically they agreed to deliver my car 3 days later. So on the 4th of January, we're waiting around all day because they told us they were going to be there at between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So we're waiting around for this call to come get my car because they won't drive it out to where I'm from on Long Island. They're going to drop it off on the side road of the LIE, which is the Long Island Expressway. So finally, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they're like, "Hey, we're like an hour away." The whole day, by the way, it has been rainy, snowy, sleety, gross. It's been a shitty friggin' day, okay? We get in the car and we head up to where they're leaving my car, which is off of exit 62 on the LIE, right? We get there, it's dark, it's rainy, it's snowy, it's just a shitty January day, or night, I guess at this point. And I go and I run up to my car and my window is open. My driver's side window is wide open. And listen, I immediately think, okay, it's been open since they took it off the rig and they just parked it on the side of the road. And they were sat in their tractor trailer and my car was in front of them. So they had backed it up and then reversed back and they were just waiting there. And they shoved the paper and they made a sign and it was just this whole thing. And I look in the back seat and I see immediately that my stuff has been moved around. Like all my neatly folded clothes are it's all disheveled. And I'm like, well, that's, you know, so I can't prove that that's the people who just delivered my car. I get in my car, the seat is soaked. I have leather seating. Thankfully I had a towel, but like soaked, like the window had been open from Philadelphia all the way to Long Island, which is like a 5-hour car journey, by the way. And specifically the flooring was really wet. Like it made really gross noises under my feet. And I was like, oh my God, like great. It's soaked. It got drained in and dripped on and it's totally destroyed. Mold is gonna happen. It's gonna be gross. So we drive home. I start taking all my stuff out and I noticed that all my stuff has been sorted through. There's things missing. There's my face mask, which is like a Boscia. That was like the Boscia charcoal face mask. My G pen, maybe 2 tops were missing, right? And I noticed in my passenger seat that there is an In-N-Out cup on the ground. And I hadn't been to In-N-Out in weeks before I left. And I cleaned my car, you know? I like to clean my car. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe the guy took, because he couldn't go up to my friend's house. He had to take an Uber up and then drive my car down. So maybe on the way down, he stopped at In-N-Out, you know? Maybe he just didn't clean up after himself. Maybe he took those things for his girlfriend, right? also, what was on top of all of my clothing was a sex toy, was a vibrator that I hadn't actually ever used before. It was given to me while I was in LA. I never used it. And it was on top of all my stuff. And it looked a little wet, right? And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe the guy was a little pervy, you know? You never know. Maybe, you know, freaks, kinks, whatever. I take all the bins out and I have a quilt at the bottom of my, to protect the leather, right? And I noticed that there's a blood stain on the quilt. I will put pictures in, I promise. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? They had sex in the back seat of my car. So my whole scenario is the guy who picked my car up, saw the bedazzles, thought it was cute, must have called a girlfriend, had a nice little date night in my car, in and out, sorted through my stuff. She clearly wasn't thick like I am because she didn't take any of my clothes except 2 tops that were pretty friggin' small, and my G-pen and my face masks. So I know it's like a woman or somebody who's a little feminine or cares about their skin, like geez. I then had sex in the backseat of my car because a condom was missing. And they used my sex toy because there was blood on the quilt. And when I ran a black light over the vibrator, there was blood on it. If I have that video still from when I sent it to one of my friends, I will insert it, but it was disgusting. It lit up and it was already purple, like the natural color of it was purple, and it lit up. It lit up like the LEDs in this room. Like it was so friggin' gross. And I know the title of this is They Peed in My Car, but we haven't gotten there yet. Just wait. So I discover this. I'm freaking out. I then am like, you know what? But I have to deal with the water inside my car first. Like I have to get that out. And thankfully we have a shop vac and we have all this cleaning product, all this stuff. So I take my bare hands, I take a couple sheets of paper towel, and I'm like, let me mop out the moisture first. I put this paper towel down and I plant my hand down. And when I take my hand away, it is yellow. The closer I got, it was very obvious that there's no way that something yellow got in my car. It was most definitely pee. These men peed in my car, opened the window, and then drove from Philadelphia all the way to Long Island with my window open in a fucking sleet storm and peed in my car. When I called the broker and told him this, he called me back almost immediately. Like I left him a voicemail explaining what I just discovered, and he called me back like 5 minutes later and was like, what? I'm shocked. Needless to say, this obnoxious East Coast salesman we no longer speak to, communicate with, don't even think about except for when I'm telling this story now. And like I can picture his voice, and I was like, you're such an ass. Like, oh my God, he brokered the worst people ever. But that's just the business, I guess. But regardless, next day, I got a text message from the guy who drove my car down from my friend's house in California to Philadelphia, with a picture of the complaint that the broker had written out for them. And he wrote, why would you sell me out like this? I'm gonna take that as an admission of guilt. Also, dude, if you're watching, you're a dick. Enjoy the G-pen. Hopefully you have clearer skin. Who knows, you know? Other company actually never got in touch with me about peeing in my car. They didn't do anything about it. Never heard back from them. And we just, you know, at that point, we just dropped it because I got my car back. Luckily at the time we owned a cleaning company, so I was able to get that situated. And I think the whole moral of this story is do not be a woman involved in shipping cars or moving items or doing anything that involves dirty, gross, under blue collar men who, if they don't like the way you talk to them, will pee in your car. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is so fucking embarrassing telling it. And to be honest, it was low-key my fault. I spoke to him like an asshole. I spoke to him like a privileged bitch, which, you know, I was at one point in my life, and I no longer am. And also, even if I still am, let's be respectful to people, but he was a dick, and shit happens. So if you liked this video and you want to hear more stories about my tragic life, because so many shitty things that happened, that I have caused, obviously, and you must want to hear about them. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you leave it a like and go ahead and subscribe if you aren't. Like these types of videos, those story time with Sharpies, I love to do them because I love to talk about myself and love to rehash on embarrassing moments. Go ahead and leave in the comments down below. And I'm gonna go ahead and go. I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.